All right. I'm not sure if anybody's going to come to this stream or not. It's very late in the evening, I assume, in the United States. But I was so excited by the UConn game that I thought I'd try to go live again. And I'm just running this live again. Nobody's in the chat right now, but a stream of consciousness. If anybody arrives, then I'll start taking specific questions. But right now, just the games today. I think they lived up to their hype. The one I took notes on the LSU game, and a lot of things stuck out to me. So I thought the LSU game played out sort of like what I thought it would. It was basically if Iowa could shoot, then LSU might be in trouble, and the best offense would win, and that's essentially what happened. I don't think LSU took advantage of what they had. Um, First off, people that are on, can you hear me all right? Give me a star or an okay if you can hear me. Can you all hear me? I'm showing 5 people on right now. And are you UConn? Do you want me to talk about UConn first or Iowa? You tell me. So I've just come off the UConn game, so that's fresh in my mind. Okay, we got 14. Okay, you can't hear me. I got a thumbs up. If you like the content, listen, I'm a terrible streamer. I will let y'all know this. If you want a good streamer, you should go see Quita, I think, Quita on Sport. She's much better than me. I'm not polished, but I'm so excited by these games that I was bursting to talk about them. I just couldn't handle having to go in the editing room. I just wanted to talk to people about it. So I hope you can put up with my poor streaming technique. I'm just going to tell you first off. So y'all want me to go UConn first? I'm happy that your team lost back to sport. Theo, I'm happy that your team lost to sport is good. Okay. What team lost? Which one's my team? Oh, Texans? Is that what you're talking about? Uh, what am I a UConn? Yes, baby. UConn got it done against all odds. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. If I was going to do a video, this is how it would start. So I'll probably wind up doing a video. I don't know. We'll see how we go tonight. If I was going to do a video tonight, I was going to go the clip from Catch Me If You Can. Remember the movie Catch Me If You Can? So in that, it's like, why do the Yankees always win? And DiCaprio goes, because of Mickey Mantle, and the dad says no, because of the pinstripes. And I would say, well, you got Mickey Mantle and Paige Beckers, and you got the pinstripes of UConn. You put the two together, and you can have seven and win any day of the week. It looks like I cannot believe they won. I am so happy I am not a bettor. Because all money, I was like, wow, I should get money on this because there's no way UConn. What did I say? Were they an 8 point favorite? 8.5. I was like, oh my god, this 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 line is so bad. I've got to get cash on this money. And I was like, no, because I remember the last bet I had. I coached a terrible. I'm going to digress here. I hope you don't mind, but I coached a terrible girls basketball team. We lost all our games, but it was a private school and they paid me and they had a good time. And I was like, I can't believe they're paying me $100 a practice. It was a brilliant. And I was like, I'm going to put this all on the Denver. I'm going to put it all on Green Bay to win the Super Bowl because the Denver Broncos could never win. And it was the one where Elway won. And I put like $1,000 what I'd made from the whole season on that, and it went straight down the tubes. I was like, I'm never betting again. So man, that's why they build the hotels in Vegas. I'm so happy. I just can't believe. I mean, how can you predict that you would get in minutes from Ice Brady? I mean, she hit the three in the corner. She did everything. And then Q as well. Like I was worried about Shade initially, and I thought Q was a great substitution for for Shade to let her settle down a bit. And then when she got in the second half, she had a few shots off the dribble handoff and things like that and got her going. And then other one, Nika Mule. Oh my God. Flowers to Nika. Flowers to Nika. She played with 4 fouls and didn't foul out. Who here thought that Nika was going to foul out? As soon as she got her fourth, I was like, oh no, we're going to have the Nika moment. I've got my video already done for me practically. It's going to be how Nika never learned her lesson. She gets four and she fouls out again. And she did it. She was tough. I was worried when they were missing the free throws at the end of the game. But man, they did it. They played so it was such a tight game. Like they UConn played a tight, perfect game. Paige Beckers controlled it, and it was amazing. They controlled. It just felt like when you're and the whole time, like even when USC, what did they do? They hit the three to tie it, and I was like, "Here we go." Are they? Gino got the timeout. Great timeout by him. Was like, are they going to hold on to the rope or not? Are they going to let it go? Came back out, settled it, got the lead again, and man, when it was crunch time at the end, they showed up, controlled it, and did everything. Had enough of a lead where they could get a little bit nervy at the end. I was sort of, I was in two minds. Do you like Paige Beckers throwing in the ball or not? Like one of me, if I was going to have anybody throw it in, I think I want Beckers because I trust her most. But at the same time, if anybody gets fouled, I want Beckers taking the free throws. Are you the same opinion? So I was just like, wow. All right. Here we go. Let me go through the comments. I want this to be interactive. As a longtime UConn fan, I'm incredibly shocked still that they played this good. That's right, B. Peter, Paige is the truth. Yes, she delivered. Paige and Caitlin had themselves a night. I'm so proud and shocked by the Huskies pulled it off. Yeah, it's unbelievable. You've got to be thrilled as a UConn fan when you have a team that overachieves. My God. I mean, Gino had tears in his eyes. Like he had tears in his eyes because this team should not be in the Final Four. There's no way. It looks ridiculous looking at the bench. They've got seven there in the two on the bench you can't even trust, and then they deliver in the big game. My God, when's the last time Q played? Did she get in versus Syracuse? I don't remember her playing against Syracuse. I'd have to go back and look at the box score, but she gave them minutes. She hit that three. I need to I was so wrapped up in the game. Like I was taking notes on the LSU game, but I was so wrapped up in the UConn game. I haven't taken notes and I'm so disorganized. So I'm going on my just straight memory, which is terrible. But yeah, they just it was just a tight game that they controlled the whole way through, and they played pretty much the perfect game. Beckers was unbelievable. Like she just did what she needed to do. She didn't hit every shot, but every time there was a big shot to be made, she did it. And then Juju, she's a freshman, and somebody put in the comments like somebody was angry at my preview um, that I was negative on UConn. I was like, hey, I'm not negative, but I thought Rhea Marshall would give Edwards a lot more trouble. Like she did. I think that was a tough matchup. And I think Edwards held strong. I think Edwards missed her first shot. I was like, ooh, at the rim. And I was like, oh, there's the link. She's going to struggle. But she battled the whole night. Full credit to her. Yeah, this game, Bethany, does give you hope for Ice, doesn't it? I mean, this is clearly the best game she played. You know what I loved with Ice? It was at the end where they missed a rebound. Like she had a rebound to get and she didn't get it. And she was angry at herself. Like she pounded the floor. And I was like, yeah, you're into the game and you're doing what you need to do. All right. So I thought, you tell me, I think this is the best game Ice has played against good competition because people were rubbish the Pac 12, but they played well. Like Oregon State gave South Carolina a good run. That conference battled the whole time and they all went against each other. It's a damn shame that conference is leaving. Like it's such a shame personally for me because I'm in Australia obviously. In Pac-12 International I could watch all the games. It was brilliant. Like I've got lucky I was able to watch these games on my pay thing, but usually I'm dependent on the YouTube thing and I was taping the game for the clips later, but it went black screen. So the people that didn't have ESPN, oh my God, I can only imagine how that would have drove you insane. But yeah, Ice Brady, big. UConn was big. I cannot believe they did it with seven on the bench. I really can't. Nika played with her four. I thought for sure she was going to foul out. I thought Ashlyn Shade regrouped very, very well. I thought she settled herself down after halftime and did well. Yeah, Ice with the three. Are you kidding me? She took it. She looked so relaxed. And it was almost like, hey, I've got nothing to lose here. This is what you're talking about at House Money. That's what UConn had. They seemed like a relaxed easy team, like, "We're just gonna be focused and do this." And as they got the lead, it felt like they just grew in confidence, and it felt like USC got tighter and tighter and tighter. So that's my initial thoughts. I don't know what you think. That was my thoughts. You could just feel USC tightening up. They couldn't hit an outside shot. And when the outside shots aren't dropping and you're not getting it, it's just hard, you know? You just know it's slipping away. Yeah, Juju afterwards, I felt bad for her. They showed her the in shot, her leaving the tunnel crying and everything else. Um, I like Juju. I've got nothing negative to say on her. I think both she and Hidalgo had unbelievable freshman seasons. I think it was full credit to them and the way they played. I obviously did that video on Hidalgo. I thought that was awful that they took her off to take the nose ring out, and in that video, I didn't do another video on that because it's like it seemed pretty polarizing. You just thought a rule's a rule and you can't do it, or what are y'all doing? And I don't think you'll change anybody's opinion. I obviously gave mine, and that's where I stick on it. I know if you're a UConn fan, you'll say, "Hey, that's why Chris Daly, no nail painting, no painting the nail polish. We don't have to worry about nose rings on our team because we don't do that." And I'm sure they had a smug little comment about that. So I've got no doubt the UConn way, no nail polish, and that's why our players don't get taken off. If you're old school, that's what you would be saying. I still think that that was an awful job by them. And the easy follow up video I could have done was it would have been, hey, NCAA, you have enough time to worry about getting the nose ring out of Hannah Hidalgo, but you can't measure the damn, 3-point lines correctly. So that would have been the one. Yeah, the ultimate matchup. How much are we gonna get? Paige versus Caitlin. Paige versus Caitlin. Here we go. Oh my God. It is gonna be amazing. And I stayed away from the racial aspects because I thought on I deliberately on I did the I don't know if you've seen it, but I did the preview of Iowa LSU, did straight down the line because everybody else was doing black white. I saw the Lebertard had one with Jamel Hill on there, who I like Jamel Hill, and they talked about it. I was fine with it, but I didn't want to touch it, especially as a white guy. I stay away from that. But man, it's like ooh, it felt like when I was a kid, it was the whole Larry Bird, Magic Johnson thing. And funny enough, I liked Magic Johnson. He crushed my Rockets, but I love Magic Johnson. But man, all right, I'm a New York guy. I got to go to sleep so can get to work. Great win, UConn. Yeah, Bethany. Yeah, you're late here. I'm just 3:30. I might go all night here. I might go 24 hours. When you wake up in the morning, you'll probably have a 10-hour stream. Actually, my kids are about to get home, so you'll probably hear noise going down the hallway. It is unbelievable. I'm so excited by the games today. I'm going to talk Iowa a little bit. Are people happy for me to talk Iowa? So I took more notes on that. My things are more coherent on Iowa, I think. So I know they'll go after on the Iowa win. They're going to go after Haley Van Lith, but I thought she was okay. Like I thought it. I noticed early, like again, LSU's defense has not been great. They were a little bit better than Iowa, but teams have been scoring. Mulkey's magic mark is 40%. Hold them under 40% free throw percentage. And that's what she's had all season. And that team can't do it. And so because of that, it was like, you know, that was the problem. It was going to be a matchup of offense. And when Iowa couldn't hit shots, it was when LSU wasn't hitting their shots and weren't taking advantage. Like one time, Morrow got the ball, drove in, and just took a jumper. And I'm just like, every time, man, it felt like Morrow didn't dominate her offensive matchup as much as she should have. Same thing with Williams. And their numbers weren't totally awful. But then the other thing was just transition defense just killed LSU. Like they got so many looks on transition, and that really really hurt them. And then they let Kate Martin get off. I thought you can't take any shots at Angel Reese. Like I thought she played tough. She got those two steals, which were lazy passes by Caitlin Clark, and I thought they did everything that they should have done or she did everything possible. I really don't think you can put that loss on Angel Reese. The point guard production for LSU wasn't great, but they didn't have the turnover problem. I just really don't think Morrow and Williams did enough. Flage did all right. Like Johnson's game was good, but yeah, those were the ones I thought were the big ones that the four around them just weren't good enough. In terms of UConn, yeah, I need to look at the box score. I'm just going to bring it up real quick. But the matchup with UConn can be in the championship game because I think they match up well against Iowa as well. I mean, because Edwards and Stolke, uh, that's a line ball. I would give that to Edwards. Becker's on Caitlin Clark. If you're a UConn fan, you're fine with that. I reckon we'll take ours. They'll UConn say we take ours, and Iowa say we'll take ours. You know, yeah. Van List shooting wasn't great, but it wasn't. If you look at the point guard production, they I think they went 5 for 15. If you combine Poa and Haley Van Lith, but other positions, I mean, they needed to dominate the other four, and they didn't do it. So I'm not going to do one of those. I think where Haley Van Lith crushed Iowa was when um, when I think Iowa got them because they're four. Their four did better than the LSU four, if you like, and that includes and Williams and Morrow. I just don't think those two did enough. They didn't take advantage, and then when they put Poa on, Poa couldn't slow down Caitlin Clark is at all. And then I thought the other thing at the very end, I guess Mulkey was worried about foul trouble for Johnson, but she put Johnson too late on Caitlin Clark. I think when she put her on, Clark did not like that matchup because it felt like Johnson was longer and giving her a little bit more trouble. I mean, I'm sure Clark would have figured it out eventually. And then eventually they started switching everything. And I'm like, why are you switching? I think it was like with like 3 minutes left, they started switching everything. I was like, man, they need to do it straight away and do all the switches. They didn't switch up their offense enough. It looked like Caitlin Clark was in a rocking chair basically. She didn't look. The only thing I was just like, wow, those are lazy passes. You got the steals on. That was what's boggling me. Yeah, Patrick, Iowa had black players as well. So yeah, I thought the narrative of black white, I stayed the heck away from that. I didn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I more wanted to focus on the basketball, which I just saw similarities in Iowa and Colorado. Like that, and it's funny, like that's such a that's the game that LSU sort of started their season, and then again another team that has a lot of players that can shoot, and they just couldn't slow them down. All right, back to UConn. PB is going to be ready for Iowa. Yep, yep. That matchup is going to be fantastic because you got Stolke on. What do you have Stolke and Edwards. So even you had PB on Caitlin Clark. And then the other ones, I guess, oh God, I've forgotten her name. The one that's replaced, what is it? A Falter. I guess they'll put who will they put on a Falter? What do you think? A Falter will be uh I assume who would they put on a Falter? God, yeah, I assume they'll put I, hmm, yeah, I assume they'll put Ashlyn Shade on a Falter, and then Kate Martin. Yeah, I wonder who. I guess Nika on. Oh God, I don't know. I have to think about that. Wonder how they're going to match them up. Um, let's let's go 7 actually. What did I say? 6? They only had 6. They have 7 players. They had Ice and Q that delivered. I'm just reading the comments. Agree. She should have put Johnson on Clark a while ago. Yeah, I agree with that. Zane, Marcus, LSU lost. Mulkey put HBL on Clark. That was a horrible decision. It was, but she put Poa in Marcus at the 7:38 mark, and straight away Poa got Clark went straight by her. I thought Poa would do a better job on Clark. She did it in the last national championship game because I was watching that yesterday, and she didn't. Neither one of those players could slow down Clark. So you can say that she tried to do that switch early on, and then when she saw that Poa wasn't slowing her down, she's like, "Well, hell, I might as well put I might as well get Haley Van Lith in and see if I can get some offense from her, which she didn't, but I understand what she was thinking there. I doubt Gina will do something like that on Friday. Yeah. HVL taking a lot of heat, but to me, whole team didn't play great. Yeah, Richard, that's the same way with me. Angel played hard, but the team lost because team defense. 100% Richard, you nailed it. Comment right there. That is it. They'll crush HVL. They love doing it. They'll crush me for saying H instead of H. But she was she was just a cog in the machine, and it was all of them, their team defense. They were getting back cut. She was one of them, and they did not play good enough, and they missed a lot of shots at the rim. Should have put Flaude and Caitlin Clark. Yeah, they should have done that earlier. I agree, but she was in foul trouble as well. So I wonder if that's why Mulkey didn't do it. South Carolina versus Iowa. South Carolina versus Iowa, and South Carolina wins championship, revenge tour complete. Yeah, I mean that's the narrative they want, isn't it? So they want the rematch, and then oh, South Carolina fans. I wonder what the South Carolina fan thinks when they sleep at night. Do they want this matchup or not? Because when they get into a matchup, Indiana was shooting the lights out, and they gave them a scare. And same thing with Oregon State as well. Like Oregon State couldn't hold on to the rope, but I thought they played them tough those last 2 games, and I wonder because that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be our 4 shooters and Clark. Well, not with Stolke, but they got dominated on the boards by, um by, um by LSU, and they still won. I can't remember what the rebound count was, but it was over 15, I think. Scoopy, let's see, South Carolina. You have Shade there. I guess you're thinking they'll put Shade on Kate Martin. I'm ready to see UConn and Iowa. That's going to be a good game, but Iowa needs to work on their post players because Edwards is going to rock their world in paint. I thought Iowa was lucky when O'Grady got in foul trouble. I thought that was actually helped them because I thought I think O'Grady's height did a better job on Angel Reese. I don't know if y'all think the same thing, but I think that was much better. And that actual third foul she picked up early in the third benefited Iowa. And I didn't know she picked up her third. I think I was getting a cup of tea or something like that. And when that happened, I was like, "Ooh, yeah." I didn't realize she was off. I was like, "Ooh, did Bluter make the switch at halftime?" But she didn't. Obviously, she got the third one. I rewatched it. She got the third. But the whole time I was thinking, man, I'm thinking O'Grady plus Stolke on there, if that would allow them to battle better on the boards versus Morrow. Let's see, Jess Lois. Do y'all think Mole can guard Caitlin? I mean, look at what she did with DeAsia. Yeah, it's fine if she can stay in the game. I mean, I think he'll switch it around. I think he'll put Nika on her for a bit and then rotate maybe KK for foot speed for a little bit. And then I think in big moments, if Paige isn't in foul trouble, hurdling, that's where they'll go with it. That's what I think. Great work. Thanks for the live chat. Great work. Go Huskies. Yeah, no problem, Peter. Again, I'm not very good at live chat. So anyway, I'm probably a rambling mess so because I'm so excited by these games. Caitlin is way taller though. Yeah, that's yeah, but I mean, Juju's a beast. Like somebody told me that they didn't think Juju was 6'2", but I remember in the opening game versus Iowa, um, not no Ohio State. I remember the color commentator saying Juju was tall, like met her in the hallway and said, she's a legitimate 6'2". Like she's long and she's a tough coverage. And you can see in all the clips, like especially in that Stanford game, she drives them to the elbow and just shoots over them. God, it really reminds me of Kobe, I think. Edwards has advantage on Iowa, but she basically has no backup if she gets in foul trouble. Hunter, well, hey, Richard, she's got Ice Brady. You know that Ice Brady, the 3-point shooting machine? Ice Brady's a new woman now. Come on, Richard, buy into it. She played well in the Big East, and the first, we all forget the Syracuse game. Ice is a new woman. Okay, let's see. She can if she stays out of foul trouble. Scott, yeah, they all need to stay out of foul. If Nika can play with 4 fouls, then maybe they all can. It gives me hope. It's a SC fan. Clark scares me. Yeah, you should be. She's good. Clark is good. She reads it. She reads it. But that said, she had a few sloppy passes tonight. But man, I just give her an ounce of space and she takes it. When you're watching a baseball game and the certain batter comes up and you just dread it. Like for me back in the day, it seemed like Keith Hernandez always used to kill the Astros when you come up there, or Tony Gwynn as well. They would just show up at the wrong time. They could be 0 for 3 and then be the ninth inning. You're trying to get them out. And Tony Gwynn's there, and you're just like, oh no, we know we're gonna lose. And that's the thing with Caitlin Clark. When she's up to bat, she just makes you nervous. And when she takes that shot, you expect it to go in. The company man, your coverage is great. Been following your channel all season. If Sarah Strong goes to Duke, does that automatically make them a title commit? Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, if Sarah Strong goes to Duke, that's the piece they need because they played the Duke game. I thought Duke played good defense and everything. They just didn't have that player. You know what I mean? They need that player, in my opinion, and they did not have it. So, and she would be that player. I mean, she'd look great in a UConn uniform as well, and she would fit in either system because, by all accounts, the clips I've seen, she can shoot it and she can do what she wants. And yeah, if she goes to Duke, then if she goes to Duke, I think they're a top 5 team. I think the preseason, I need to look at it in more detail, but the preseason poll too early, I think they would be top 5, definitely top 10 for sure. All right, because who's the other one? Richardson is a junior, I think. I need to relook at that. Who's the shooting guard for them? And I think she's a junior, so she would be back. She's either a sophomore or junior, so she's back, and she's a classic. She's that number two. She's your 2 or 3 person. She was not a number one. She tried to be a number one, and she's not. And that's Gino said at one of his press conferences. If you have a Juju, a Paige Beckers, uh, who else? Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, you have a chance to go all the way. That's why when Paige Beckers injured her ACL before the season started in 23, it was done. And I keep on saying in my videos, I'm like, ooh, this is a tough matchup for UConn. How are they going to do it? But hey, if you have Paige Beckers, you have a chance. And I stick by that. She's one of those blue chip players that you need. And supposedly Sarah Strong is that. But it's hard. You want to see it on the court because I didn't know if Caitlin, not Caitlin, but Juju. I was like, I'm skeptical of the high school players and when they switch over. So I didn't know if Hannah Hidalgo would translate. I didn't know if Juju would translate. And then you see him and you're like Ohio State and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is not going to be a problem for her. So and that's the way I see it. Let me catch up on these comments. Moole did a good job on Clark last season. Clark scored 25, but when did they play? John, they played last year? I don't remember Iowa and UConn playing. I need to think about that. Was that in a tournament? I just can't remember. Shade on, yeah, shade on a falter. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I agree with that. That's probably the way they'll go. And then a positive sign for UConn is that Q played well. So Q played well. If they could get a few minutes with her length, I mean, I'm really bullish on Q. Like, I know she's up and down, but if she hits that first shot and just next year, I'm hoping an off season with her and getting her defense even better and stuff like that. Like, her shot is so good. Let's see, Just Lois. I'm really proud of the team, bro. Everyone was blasting Gino at the beginning of the season. This has taught me a great lesson in life. Yep, 100%. Like I think, that's a joke. Just yeah, Gino doesn't know what he's doing. I love the thing. All these coaches have you overlook their flaws, but and I don't mind Mulkey. I know she's polarizing. People hate her, like her, but I like that she is what she is, and she says it how she says it. And I'm not in there to be the moral arbiter of how you live your life. If you have your values, I don't necessarily agree with them, and I think you can say things that are inappropriate at times and all that. But I like the way she talks and will give you, if you listen to her press conferences, generally she'll give you the lowdown on what she thinks. I'd much rather that than a Bill Belichick that's on to Cincinnati and won't give you a damn thing unless you're like asking about the long snapper and how important the long snapper is. You ask Belichick about that, he'll talk in detail. You ask him something important, he'll just on to Cincinnati. So and Gino's at that stage. He's like that, the uncle at the dinner party, or the grandfather that just doesn't give a damn anymore. So he just speaks the truth and not worried about offending anybody. And he's not worried about people taking shots at him. I mean, what are you going to say? All those national championships, and now so he's in a great stage. If you're UConn, man, you are just so happy. This is such house money. O'Grady is nice. Yeah, she played well, and that will be good backup for them. Juju's so smooth with her shots. I can't wait to see how much she develops over the summer. Yeah, Shane, or Zane or Shane. Yeah, Zane. Sorry. Um, with Juju, again, you can obviously tell I'm old school on this, but I think Juju is sort of like Magic Johnson, how he retreated to his mansion after that. He was Tragic Johnson and worked on his game and got better. And I think that's what she's going to do. I think she will just come out, hopefully injury free next year, and just be ready to go. She'll have the number one class with her. I think they might have some initial growing pains because getting that number one class into shape, but USC, that number one class with Juju, and I still like Gottlieb. I don't think she did anything wrong. I think she tried to change it to pressing them a bit and everything. There's nothing glaring that I can see that she did that I go, you mismanaged this game, Gottlieb. I just think UConn played better. Um, UConn are not deep. I think Iowa rolls them. Um, Patrick, it could happen. The I think if Iowa gets on them and gets out to a lead, then I think they can. And I think it can get out of control really quickly because, as Gino said, they really don't have. If if they have to adjust, there's no adjustment to do. That's the only way they can play, and they need to be hitting their shots to stay in a game, and they can't all of a sudden go big or go small or do anything to adjust it. So I think if Iowa comes out comfortable and gets on a roll like they did against Colorado, then I think they could let go of the rope. And even if that happens, like let's say Iowa rolls UConn, if you're a UConn fan, it's gravy, man. You shouldn't be in the Final Four. You should be yeah, really, you should have lost. UConn should have lost to Syracuse. Controversial take, but that game could have been lost. They won it. And they did what they needed to, and that was great. But a few balls bounced differently that way. They were on the edge there of losing, and they made it happen. So that it could have been over that soon. So that if you're a UConn fan and you're in the Final Four, you're just saying, "Hey, UConn, that's what we do. Even when we're decimated by injuries, we make it to the Final Four. Especially when we have our star. If we have Paige Beckers, we have a chance." Didn't see UConn losing that game. They're probably the only team that can guard Juju. Yeah, I thought the matchup was good, but I still thought the other four would get them because they I thought their height. I thought who's 45? Forbes. I thought Forbes would be a bit of a problem for them, but I haven't looked at the box score, but I didn't think Forbes did much. Clark's shot's incredible, but she needs to learn how to make the mid-range shot. She missed so many great opportunities and turned the ball over. Yeah, Zane, I agree with that. I don't know. I do like analytics. I did believe in Daryl Morey, but man, so many times when the Rockets were in a tight game and we just needed a bucket, and they stuck with that philosophy of a three-pointer at the basket, and you're just like, oh man, if James can do a step back from the three-point line, why can't he do a step back from 15 feet? And does it always have to be a three? And they would tell me, oh my God, you have to you cannot take the mid range because it's so inefficient. I'm like, oh, when you need a bucket and it tightens up, you need that because I think in some ways it makes it easier for the defense because they know they don't have to guard the mid range. And they're like, okay, we'll load up with the bigs, wait for you to come to the basket and contest you, or we're just closing out tight. So, yeah. And I think at times this year, I think that got Utah into trouble. Like when Utah was playing South Carolina, that game was tight at the end, and it was either three or go home. And at that in that game against South Carolina, they went home. And same thing with against Gonzaga. I mean, their season was over when they lost Neepkins, not Neepkins, Neepkins. When they lost Neepkins, I thought their season was done. Thoughts on who will get Tennessee job? Yeah, don't know that. Yeah. Kelly Harper. I was gonna do something on that to say, I think Kelly Harper might be on the hot seat, but then I don't like going after people's jobs. I didn't think she should be fired. Um, God, who would they go with? I mean, I can't go with the Syracuse coach. I don't know, and that's something. Yeah, and she just didn't do enough. I read some message boards, and they were. She didn't make the Sweet 16 last year, this year, and the recruiting class for next year doesn't look good, and I understand the change they made. So it's tough, man. Tennessee, they need basketball's better when Tennessee's good. I want them to be back just to get the rivalry back with UConn. Do me well because I can make a few videos on it. Thoughts on who? So yeah, I don't know. I need to look at that. Um, Kenny Brooks would have been a nice hire for that. I wonder. I haven't investigated the Kenny Brooks thing, but people tell me the reason he went there was because Kentucky had better NIL. It wasn't a money issue. I know the whole issue with Amore in the portal. I'm curious to see what she does. So if she's gone to the portal, it seems like she's not doing the WNBA. So I think that's a smart decision. And I'm wondering with her, um, does she go with loyalty and Kenny Brooks and his rebuilding program just for a year? Or is she doing, the Haley Van Lith and the best chance to win the title? And with that, where would be the best place for her to go? Like that's the one I'd be asking is, should Amore go to UCLA because Osborne's left and she would be that piece they need and she could combine with Lauren Betts? That would be interesting. Could she go to Iowa maybe? I don't know. I'm curious to see what she wants to do. She's because she's Australian. I wonder if she wants to go to the West Coast potentially. That would be interesting to see. I'm curious to see where she winds up. If it's just purely I mean, she really likes Kenny Brooks. So it might just be a total ride and die with Kenny Brooks, and that's where I'm going. Or it could be, hey, I've played with him enough. I want to go see somewhere different, and here we go. I want to go to California and live the UCLA life and we're on the coast or yeah, I'm curious to see what she does. It'll be fun to watch. What's Angela Q did awesome. She fit right in 100%. How long has it been since Q's gotten minutes? I can't even remember that. Yeah, thoughts on who will get to know. Let's see. Let me get on this. A neutral site, UConn won 86, but Clark at another level right now. Yeah, yeah, she is. Clark's locked in like she was last year. Mulkey should have focused on the LA. That's what Mulkey does. That didn't make anything. Um, I think Mulkey plays the press. Her team's knows. They didn't shoot well enough. Juju desperately needs to improve her handle next season. USC got out coached by UConn tonight. Forbes took 15 threes. The bench had 3 points. They went 8 minutes without Juju taking a shot. Yeah, I mean, but that's how they played all year. I mean, Gottlieb, I like Gottlieb. I think she plays a smart game. I think I think USC is ahead of schedule as well. I think they're in the same boat as UConn, and I think they overachieved. I thought that they should have won tonight. I thought they had the better team in terms of size and stuff like that, but I thought it was a fairly even matchup. And I think, in a nutshell, I think UConn star player had experience, been to Final Fours, and had a lot of big game experience. USC's star player hadn't. And I think it was a learning lesson tonight for Juju. Just in those moments where it gets tight, you just have to adjust your game. And once you're in it, then the next time you're in it, I think she'll have more of this is how I need to manage that. So, but did I think USC would feel like they let it get away, no doubt. But but I still think UConn was a better team. They were sharp. They did what they needed to do, and yeah. Actually, UConn Iowa game last year was in Portland. Interesting enough. Oh, was that like the Phil Knight game or whatever? Okay, interesting enough. Dorka didn't play in the game. Okay. Yeah, Dorka was out for a little bit. Man, if this team had Dorka, that would make life much better for UConn, wouldn't it? Shame she couldn't have taken another year out. She was a fifth year, wasn't she? Anyway, Paige Becker is her. Yeah. Okay. What do we got here? Paige is really smart, a good defender. When watched, she Clint Fulwiley today. She's smart. She knows what she's doing, and that's a good matchup. I think Paige at times struggles with the really small point guards like Hannah Hidalgo. Now, before you yell at me in the comments, I know she wasn't guarding Hidalgo, and a lot of that was pick and roll defense and everything else. But I think generally she feels better or more comfortable going against the the 6 foot who she can use her size to match up better than the real little quicks. I think that's where she has trouble with. Kenny Brooks should have waited just another. Yeah, 100%. Yes, yes. Kenny Brooks, yeah, jumped too soon. Uh, Tennessee should have sent him a message. Hey, Kenny, just come on. The other one I thought that might have been on the hot seat as well was uh, God, who's the coach for Baylor? Um, God, Tony, what is it? Tony, God, I've lost her name in my mind. God, I did a video on it as well. Who was winning the breakup, Mulkey or Tony Collin? Is it Tony Collin? Do I have that right? God, does anybody know? Who's the coach of Baylor? I can't remember off the top. Nikki Collin, thank you. Nikki, I always say it wrong. I always say uh, Cullen instead of Collin. Yeah, Nikki Collin. I thought she was playing for her job. Well, I think Baylor wanted I think Baylor was happy not to have Mulkey in the controversy, but I thought, ooh, if she loses that one, that was the one for her to win at because Virginia Tech had lost Kitley, and if she lets that one get away, her seat was going to be getting hot as well. But once she won that, I think because she made it to the 16, I think she's fine basically. And I think they're quite happy. The whole Mulkey mess with the Post article and her response and everything, I think that's just a reminder to the Baylor administration of this is why we don't want Kim Mulkey. She wins national championships, but my God, she's a pain in the bum. Uh, let's see. Camilla declared for the WNBA, but yeah, I saw that as well. Um, didn't surprise me. I'm still, yeah. So I thought that was going to happen. It's funny how these guys um, decide when to give it away. Like I know Nika did it before the tournament, um, Paige as well, and then some do it. Clark did it, and then some wait after, and then why Camilla did it now, I don't know, but whatever works for them. Uh, so yeah, Baxter thinks that she's gonna go to Kentucky. Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you saw that press conference, I mean, she was in tears talking about, how great Brooks was and how they think alike and stuff like that. And she's appreciative because I did a video on Abor. I really pissed off Virginia Tech because in the whole video, I didn't know better. I was calling them Vatech, and supposedly that's a no-no. So I've corrected myself on that. And I got so many. I did that video so long ago, and I still get comments about it. Like, I've learned it. I'm sorry. I really am. Oh, if you go back and look at my first UConn video, oh, you'll love it. I think I call him Ari Emma the whole video. I'm like Ari Emma, not Ori Emma. I'm like Ari Emma, Ari Emma. God, UConn fans were so pissed off at me. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Let's see. Thought KC would have done better year with South Carolina. Um, but I'm glad declared for W. Yeah, I don't. These players they need to go. Especially the international ones. Like I don't know what the coverage is, but they're really taking a chance of if they have a ACL or something like that. Like that's was talking to Calvin a bit about it, and he was like, they would cover their cost of their rehab after surgery, and I know they would. They would cover the surgery. Like if somebody did an ACL and they're international, they would pay for the surgery and things. But ACL recovery is 12 months. So if you do your ACL now, you're out for the whole year. And then you're going back to wherever home is and you're doing your physio there. I'm sure they would rebate the physio, but you can't get like a GA job with the school and just rehab in their training room. So that's the risk I see for international players. That's why I'd be really hesitant. But no, I think but Watkins is good. I don't think that'll hurt South Carolina very much. Watkins, she plays better at the 5. I think they look better when Watkins like, I think, Cardoso's good, don't get me wrong, but I think it's quite clear that Watkins will be able to play the 5, and that will allow them to switch 1 through 5, and they won't get taken down on, they won't get um, the mismatch. Like sort of South Carolina took advantage at times with having Peely go out and seeing if she could go out on Peely and stuff. So I think they use a lot of pick and roll against her, where South Carolina could be tougher because with Kitley and Watkins, then they can switch everything 1 through 5 potentially. Um, what else do I think? I'm probably going to get off soon. I imagine it's late there. It's very late. Again, it's only 4 o'clock here. It's just a stream of consciousness. Again, if you have any questions, ask them. What else did I think from the game? With the UConn one, again, I need to look at the box score more. But I just thought it was just they played tight. In terms of tight, not like nervous. They played just a solid game. I need to look at the tournament. I haven't looked at the box scores yet. Was Yeah, with LSU not taunting, yeah, and I haven't seen the press conferences yet. So, are they gonna were they magnanimous in the press conference? I saw Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark shake hands. That wasn't I saw the cameras tracking them on that. I saw her talking on the bench, holding her mouth over her lips. I don't know. She's like, "Yep, I'm declaring," or what she said. Um, Oh, when you mentioned refs as well, I will say this. I thought the blocking foul on Angel Reese, that was bogus. Like that was a block. That was not a charge. That was a brutal that was a brutal charge they gave her. Like for a fifth foul. She wasn't there. Her feet weren't set. The commentator's even like, "Oh, that doesn't look good." I hate I hate the charge in college basketball. I wish it was I wish you could have contact and the ref could judge how hard the contact is. And they're supposed to do that in the flopping rule every once. I think I've only seen like twice this year they've given them warnings. But I don't like it. Like the one where Poa took on who did Poa took a charge on Stolke to foul her out. And that was bogus as well, where players going up court and you just step in front of their way and fall down in front of them. It's like, oh my God. They did that on Colorado, got Juju fouled off, and Colorado got her fifth foul on that. Like Juju was catching the ball and the player set up for the charge and sent her off. I hate the charge call in women's college basketball. I wish it was almost like you need to be set a second and a half before we will give you the charge. Like make it like that so that it's not if it's a line ball call, every time it'll go to the offensive player because and I blame Duke, not the women's Duke, but the men's Duke. They escalated flopping. Like they sell flopping and here we go, flop, flop, flop. I hate it. Uh, was she? Right. Okay. I thought the refs were going to take UConn out of the game with 4 fouls on KK and Mull before the fourth quarter. Yeah, I thought so as well. Again, I'm in shock that Nika played with 4 fouls and didn't foul out. That's amazing. That's a breakthrough moment for her because the fourth one she got was silly. It was a silly reach in. The commentator called her out on it. I was so happy with that. Was it me or LSU play very loose defensive? Yeah, but they've been loose all season. Like their defense hasn't been LSU's defense has been bad all year. Like they'll have moments in games where they'll lock in, and you're like, man. I know it's late on the coast. If you need to leave, thanks so much for joining the chat. I'm just going to probably take this out to 60 minutes and then finish off. If you enjoy what I've done so far and enjoyed it, then give it a like. If you don't, then give it a thumbs down or whatever. So, but yeah, I thought yeah, I thought what was I saying? Yeah, the foul that Nika got, the reach in was silly, but she played with a 4. I'm glad the commentator called her out on that. Oh, LSU playing loose. Yeah, they've had defensive issues the whole year, and they just never figured it out. From the time they played Colorado, Colorado was back cutting them and everything else. And when they had like the 2 week break after Christmas, Mulkey took away the basketball and they just really drilled defense over and over again. But their overriding issue is that um, they struggled with pick and roll, and a lot of times like Angel Reese would sag, and if they would sag, then they would get killed with the 3 pointer. And then at other times as well, the point guards couldn't prevent penetration. So they would drive on HBL and they would give up the dish and that was it. And then in this game, I mean, that's why Reese did so well in this game. Like there was one where they blew by either Poa, I think it was Haley Van Lith, blew by Haley Van Lith, and Reese got in front of Clark to stop her, and then Clark gave the pass like she should have, and then Reese incredibly got back. So that's why I'm saying this loss cannot be what's on Angel Reese. It's this. She played about as well as she could play. I don't know how her ankle, played out for her. So but yeah, sad to hear she was crying in the press conference. Like people think I don't have time for Angel Reese. I do videos because she gets a lot of views, so that's why you do it. But I have no. Yeah, I've said this before. I think Angel Reese is great. Like I'm not a big fan of all the taunting and stuff, but that's what modern players do. That's what Caitlin Clark does. It's not my generation, but that's fine. I didn't have an issue with that. And then she does is rebound and play good defense. And I've seen her on the bench. She's a good teammate. Like I watched when I saw the long view when they were playing Utah last year in the tournament. She doesn't pout or anything. She's into the game, and I think she's great. I have no issues with her, and yeah, I don't have a problem with it, and I don't have a problem with if she was, they say that she left that mid-year hiatus was mental health, but if she was having a dummy spit in Australia is like when you spit out your pacifier. It's called a dummy. We call it a dummy spit. When you really get irritated, when a baby cries, they spit the dummy. So that's what they say here. I love the term. So if she had a dummy spit because Kim Mulkey benched her, I'm fine with that um, because the player has to develop their game as well. Like she needs to go to the next level and she needs to take outside shots to prove she can do it and get her confidence up. And if you're on this thing where she can't extend or take elbow jumpers and things like that, then how's she supposed to play in the WNBA? And so, yeah, I understand that. And Mulkey's had history of benching other players. Like I think she benched LaDasia Williams as well. So I think Mulkey plays mind games and does it, but she's a damn good coach. Hey Theo, what's up? Yeah, I can't believe USC lost the game. 100%. You know what I thought? I thought uh, one thing I'll admit, like I didn't think UConn was winning that game. It's pretty much outlined in my video. Did not think UConn was winning that game, and I own it, man. Like that, 100%. So when I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong and say I just tell you what I think, but I've got no crystal ball, and people want predictions. Like somebody got on me for my um, Iowa LSU preview and saying you didn't make a pick, and I'm like, I've only got one pick. The pick is the over, and that barely came off. The over barely came off. You can't predict what's gonna. No way. Who had Ice Brady? How many points did Ice go for tonight? Who had Ice Brady going for any points tonight? So, if there would have been a prop bet, if you had a prop bet? Ice Brady, more turnovers or points? What were you taking? I've got the turnovers. I don't know about you, but that's what I would have done. So and she did it. She played the game of her life. Hell, maybe I can do a uh I just think maybe I could do the video of Ice Brady's she's had her Breonna Stewart moment. So now it's clicked, Stewart had the terrible game against Baylor, and here I'm joking. All right, don't send me hate mail on that. I'm not saying Ice Brady is Stewart. Okay, I'm just saying it'd be a nice little narrative. Gino is genius in his coaching today. That with Paige and Aaliyah, experience won the game. 100%, 100%. Their stars were better. In a nutshell, I thought um, Edwards and Page were better than Rhea Marshall and Juju. So I thought Edwards did just enough against Rhea Marshall. Again, I haven't had a chance to look at the box score yet, but I thought she did just enough. Ice was the X factor, Baxter and Q as well. Q gave you good minutes. Q gave good minutes, and man, that's if there's one player I'm excited about for next year, it's Q. I hope she develops, man. Hope she stays injury free and her game just gets better and better because um, I love me shooters and her shot is beautiful. I know it hasn't gone in, but every time it looks like it's gonna go in, and she can shoot when she gets more comfortable And I just think she's getting better. I think she has the potential to really grow from freshman to sophomore year, and then she's going to be pushed because they have who is it, Chaley coming in. So I'm probably mispronouncing that. So Morgan Chaley's coming in from California, and she's long as well. Like those two can play, and then you've got Zabel as well. I don't think Zabel. I want to see how it shapes out. Like it's not fair for me to predict on who it's going to be, but I know Gino loves himself big guards, and if she can play the guard, he loves that. Paige and Juju, 28 and 29 points respectively. What were the turnovers? You looking at the box score? What were the turnovers? How many did so Forbes and Edwards both got 24 points? Oh wow. Was a line ball. I think Tessa Johnson. Yeah, Tessa Johnson. Yeah, she has a pretty shot. You're 100% right about that. Um, she yeah, and you notice in that game when it was on the line, like Don Staley loves her Tessa. Like Tessa's moved ahead of Fulwiley on the pecking order if it's a tight game. Now this will be taken out of context. Like Fulwiley can give you an unbelievable blast of instant offense, and you know, she's sensational and everything else, but just consistently good and not wanting to be torched on defense. That's the one, Tessa Johnson, because she has a little bit more size. And all the other guards for South Carolina, they're all like 5'10" and that. And Tessa Johnson and what is it, Bree Hall, they're the ones that give them a little bit of size. But at times she was playing Tessa over Bree Hall, I saw. Q played good defense. It's always surprise. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm bullish on Q. I hope she gets in and develops over the summer. UConn had 12 turnovers. USC had 10 turnovers. Yeah, that seemed about right. They got loose at the end. They made me nervous in the last 8 minutes. Tessa big guard and plays discipline. That's why she gets more minutes than Lay. 100%. That's 100% right, and that's why she's getting the more minutes. And she it's that mismatch that she was worried about with Don Staley. So yeah, I think Tessa is 6'1". I think you're right. Iowa, UConn. Um, I'll think. I mean, I'll say I would have Iowa, but I will say what I always say is if you have Paige Beckers and Aaliyah Edwards, then you have a chance. But um, I just wonder if Iowa is going to push that pace and run UConn into the ground because they play so fast. And UConn has been playing effectively five the whole tournament. And if this is the game, and I said it earlier in in the live stream, but if you have, in my opinion, if you have, if Iowa gets on a roll, it's going to be hard for UConn to stop and turn the tide or adjust the game. Like they won't be able to adjust the game. It's not like they can say, "Oh, we're going to go big all of a sudden," or this. I'm sure they'll try to control pace to a certain degree, but it'll be tough because UConn likes to play fast and in transition, and that's what Iowa likes to do. Except Iowa seems to have better numbers and more depth, and I think they have the ability to do that as well. I'm curious to see if Molly Davis, if she'll be back and they'll get minutes from her. But Falter's been playing well anyway, but that's just an extra body they have. Was Pac-12 overrated? No, I mean I don't think so in my opinion. Um, I thought the one I never believed in was Stanford. I didn't think Stanford had enough shooting, and I never believed in Texas. I thought I was gonna have to eat my words on Texas because I know their perimeter defense was awesome. I knew Texas had good defense, but I was just like I just never believed in Texas. And then Stanford, I never believed in their outside shooting. And then if not Betts, God, who is it? Cameron. If Brink gets in foul trouble, they were doomed, and that's what happened. Now I haven't seen the press conference yet, but supposedly Tara Vanderveer was a bit salty in her press conference about. Was there? I haven't seen it. So was there a comment made that you think after 4 years that Cameron would have learned how to not get in foul trouble? Like somebody said there was a comment like that. So she gets salty. Like I remember the last year where when they got knocked out in the upset in the first round, or was it second round? Sorry. She was like, talk to the athletic director. Pretty sure he'd be happy if the men made it to the second round or even made the tournament. So I like it. I like the salty coach in the press conference. But I was, and I thought Oregon played. I thought Oregon played USC well. I mean, USC is a tough matchup, and they're young. Oregon State with Beers. Beers is a beast. I love Beers' game. I love Van Oldhofen. I hate her name because I can't say it. Talia Van Oldhofen. There we go. So I love Beers' game. I love Talia Van Oldhofen's game, and I love the coach Ruick. I love the way he runs that offense. Like when they were finishing off, who were they finishing off? Was it Baylor? Who was it that had to finish off at the end? When they ran that play at the end to get the easy bucket, I used the clip of it because I loved it so much. It's beautiful. So I love myself some Scott Ruick because he runs a beautiful damn offense. And Tamia Gardner, thank you. Yeah, and she developed, like, I was watching the game live when they played UCLA, and when they were playing UCLA, and Beers got the elbow and was off, and and you could see Gardner's confidence growing in that game because I needed everything from her. And from there, when they got that win, like, you knew Gardner was for real, and she was great. Yeah, she was really good. And the other one, they've got the like, she played well in that game as well. They've got a 7 foot, like a 6'4" girl that can shoot from outside. I lose her name, but they should be good next year. I haven't looked at it. I don't know what's happening with the Pac. Oregon State, I think they've got an agreement with the former Pac-12 teams. So I think they're trying to get a game with UCLA. And that game was so telling. Oregon State nutted up and got it done after they lost their best player. And UCLA, I think they were up by like, they were up and they just gave it away. I don't remember the exact detail. It was amazing. Like, the lead changed like 5 times in like 40 seconds or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, Hansford, thank you. Um, but when UCLA gave that up, I was just like, "Oh my god, Calvin's been telling me Corey Close does Corey Close things," and he was so right. I was just like, "Oh no." Oh, if there's one video, I've done 2 videos I just hate. If I could go back in time, there was one where I was like, I'm not too worried about this one. I was trying to be controversial, but I did one where, who's the better, should Indiana draft Indiana should draft, not Boston, but the other player. I've already forgotten her name. God, I was like, it's no longer a center league. They should. And that one's just not going to age well. I'm going to lose on that one. On God, who have I forgotten? Who was the player that they did? The girl from Maryland. God, I can't remember names. But yeah, that was one that I didn't like. And then I did my top 5 coaches, like up and comers. You put your money on. And I put Corey Close at like number 4, and it's just so bad. I'm not going to take it down because I never take down my videos because I truly want people to know what an idiot I am at times, and I'm happy to leave my legacy up there. But man, I wish it was Lindsay Gottlieb. And even tonight, I still am bullish on Gottlieb. I think she's a good coach. I like the way she goes. Yeah, it did matter. Yeah, UConn did it. Yeah, Diamond Miller. God, you're my memory there. Yeah, Brianna. Yeah, you're my memory. Thank you. Zabel won the McDonald's 3-point championship at the 4th rack. Yeah, she can shoot. She can shoot. Somebody else sent me a comment. They didn't like the way she was looking, or said they didn't like her game. From what I saw in the clips, yeah, she looks good. I think only advantage though, is Ashlyn Shade was so college ready because her dad was a trainer and they were doing plyometrics and everything else. Ashlyn Shade was so ready for college, and they had her go to prep school as well. And I think Zabel, there'll be an initial transition period to get her ready and sort of conditioning and get up to what she needs. But 100% could be wrong. She could come in here and be the best thing since sliced bread. What do you think of this win for UConn could do for Sarah Strong? That Here's the thing: has Sarah Strong already committed? Like, there were rumors that she was going to commit or tell people at the McDonald's game. Is McDonald's game tomorrow? Is it so? I seem to recall the McDonald's game was going to be on the second. It's the second here. So is McDonald's game on Wednesday or Thursday? Has it happened? Okay, so the McDonald's game is tomorrow. Okay, all right. Okay, and is Sarah Strong going to make it all about me? That's my question. Is Sarah Strong going to go, hey, McDonald's game is about me, Sarah. Or is she going to do an announcement? Hey, next week I'm going to tell everybody where I'm going. That's my question. Because if she hasn't told anybody this long, um, she wants her big moment. She wants her big hat reveal and everything else, and fine. But if she hasn't committed, then I'm sure Gino and the assistant coaches are like, that's why you come to UConn, baby, because we make stars. If you're a star, you want to be Paige. You'll be with Paige next year, maybe get your championship, and then you become the alpha and get your championships, and then go on to the WNBA. That's the way it should play out. That's the UConn way. That's why you're coming here, and it's really a matter if she goes, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to Duke, and I'm gonna go the Juju, and that's what UConn will say. Hey, you can do juju, and build your USC and your home legacy and everything else, but Juju should have came to UConn tonight. That's what the assistant coaches will be saying. That's what we did. So it'll be fun to see. Now, I had somebody in the comment section. I can't remember. So somebody in my comment section said that it's over. Sarah Strong has said that she is coming to UConn. She's told the coaches, because they have a cousin that's on the coaching staff. So there you go, UConn fans. It is confirmed in my comment section by somebody. I can't remember his name. Their uncle works on the coaching staff or knows somebody that's on the coaching staff, and it is a done deal. All right. It's like the what is it, Ferris Bueller movie? My my brother's uncle's brother is really sick or whatever. So hey, it's in the comment section, man. It's done. She's done. All right. Oh God. All right. This has gone way too long. I wonder if this will get any views or not. It probably didn't make any sense. It was just a stream of consciousness. I was so excited about these games. I don't know if I have the energy to do a video tonight or not. I'll try, but yeah. Overall, I think I've said all my thoughts I have on this. I don't know if anybody will watch it, but basically, HVL is going to take the heat for the loss. But really, I think overall, it's LSU's team defense that lost it for them, therefore didn't do enough. Angel Reese played well, no blame on her. And yeah, that's my overall thought on that one. And Caitlin did Caitlin Clark things, and she won it. And then for UConn, like I said, if I was going to do a video, it would be the opening um, would be Catch Me If You Can, and the dad telling Leo DiCaprio, or asking him, hey, do you know why the Yankees win? And he goes, DiMaggio. And he's like, no, it's because they have the pinstripes. And I would go, well, in UConn's case, it's because they have DiMaggio and Paige Beckers, and it's because they wear the pinstripes of the UConn uniform that's coached by Gino Oriema and Chris Daly. And that's my overall thoughts on that. Yeah, nice. No, happy to do it. I don't know if it's very good or not. Again, I'm not good at these live streams, so I don't know if this makes any sense, and it's too painful for me to go back and watch it. Unfortunately, I don't know. I'll try to watch it. Like I can watch my videos to try to get them better, but I find these live streams very painful to watch because I know I'm awful at them. But anyway, practice makes perfect. Thanks a lot for coming. If you like this, then I'd be very appreciative if you can give the video a like, just so other people come and look at it. But as well, hey, if you think it was an S show and not worthy of other people watching, then give it a thumbs down. Whatever you do, here we go. You make the choice. You make the choice. Congratulations to UConn and Iowa. I think there might be a breakdown video of that one, and I think probably the thumb is gonna be. I wonder who will be on the thumb. Maybe Ice Brady and Holly Davis, the keys to the game, or Molly Davis. There we go. All right. Have a great night. See y'all later. Bye.